Good morning students. How are you? Hope all are fine. So today we are going to start the first lesson of 10th biology, that is nutrition, food supplying system. So all of you have heard about the word nutrition. So what is nutrition? In simple terms we can say obtaining food. Obtaining food and utilizing it. Okay, so what is nutrition? Obtaining the food, taking the food and utilizing it. అంటే ఫుడ్ తీసుకోవటం, దాన్ని యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవటం. That is called as nutrition. Okay, so how can you define nutrition? Obtaining food and utilizing it. Now this nutrition is of two different types. You can say that nutrition is mainly two types. Okay, how many types? Two types. So mainly nutrition is two types. First one is autotrophic. Autotrophic. Next one is heterotrophic. Okay, so nutrition is two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Auto, whenever you come with the word auto means self. You should remember, whenever you come with the word auto in biology, that means it's a self. Okay, auto means what? Self. Auto, so self-preparing. Tropic means preparing. So self-preparing. They prepare their food by themselves. So what are autotrophic? They prepare their food by themselves. So who will prepare? We can't prepare our food by ourselves. So who can prepare their food by themselves? So it's definitely plants. So all the plants are considered as autotrophic because plants will prepare their own food by using carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, chlorophyll. They will prepare the glucose. Glucose is nothing but food. Now coming to heterotrophic. What is hetero? Hetero means not self, means they are dependent. You can say they are dependent on others for food. Dependent on others for food. So they can't prepare their own food. They will depend upon others. Means they will depend directly or indirectly on the autotrophs for their food. Okay, those organisms are called as heterotrophs. So autotroph nutrition is mainly two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic are the organisms which can prepare their own food. So in this category, all the plants will come, and even some bacteria who have chlorophyll, like blue-green algae. Next, heterotrophic. They cannot prepare their own food. They will depend upon autotrophs directly or indirectly for their food. This heterotrophic nutrition is again divided into three types. First one is holozoic, parasitic, saprophytic. Okay, the heterotrophic nutrition is of three types: holozoic, parasitic and saprophytic. So just we will discuss about them briefly. Holozoic. What is holozoic type of nutrition? Holozoic means taking the food completely as a whole, complete. For example, you are taking an apple, you are eating the apple whole. So holozoic means eating the whole, taking the food completely, whole food, and digesting it, and you taking the nutrients from that. So holozoic. So you will take the whole food, complete food, whole food. Okay, and you will digest it in your body. Digest inside the body. And you will obtain the nutrients. You will obtain the nutrients after that. Obtain the nutrients from the digested food. Already your food is digested. So you will obtain nutrients from the digested food. You are taking for example, you have taken the apple. This apple gets digested inside your digestive system. From the digested apple, your body or your cells will absorb the nutrients from the digested apple. That nutrients will be utilized by your body for making energy. Okay? Now, coming to parasitic. To come to parasitic mode of nutrition. So what is parasite? Parasitic mode of nutrition. What is parasitic mode of nutrition? In this type mode of nutrition, parasites will take the nutrients from the other organism without destroying or killing the other organism. For example, let us simplify it. If you take a mosquito, mosquito will suck the blood as its food from us, but it is not killing us. So that type of nutrition is called as parasite. Means the parasite will take the nutrients from the other organism without destroying it. The parasite or you can say the organism will take, it will not prepare its own food, will take nutrients, or you will take the food, will take the food from other organism without destroying, without killing, or you can say destroying, without killing it. That mode of nutrition is called as parasitic nutrition. Okay. Next, coming to saprophytic. This all of you are familiar with this word, saprophytic. That is, the organisms will take the nutrition from dead and decay organisms. Example, mushrooms. Mushrooms will grow on dead animals like grass. So parasite, fungi, example, yeah, you can say fungi also. Mushroom is an example of fungi. So saprophytic organisms will take the nutrition from dead and decay organisms. Okay. These organisms take the nutrition from dead and decay. Dead అంటే చనిపోయి కుళ్ళిపోయి, decay అంటే కుళ్ళిపోవడం, organisms. Okay, so this is about the types of nutrition. So just briefly, nutrition is of two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Auto means self. So self-preparing food. The organisms which prepare their own food by using some components, they are called as autotrophic. In this category we consider all the plants will come. So plants are considered as autotrophic. Now coming to heterotrophic, they cannot prepare their own food, they cannot prepare. So they will depend directly or indirectly on the autotrophs. In this heterotrophic nutrition we have three types: holozoic, parasitic and saprophytic. Human beings, ourselves, will come as holozoic nutrition. Parasitic, some like ringworm, it's mosquito, all these will come under parasitic. Saprophytic, mushrooms, fungi, All this will come under saprophyte. So I think all this you have under basic introduction of, this is the basic introduction of nutrition. Now I would like to give you some basic introduction of human digestive system. So I hope all are clear with this. Now we will discuss some basic points about human digestive system. Human digestive systems. Human digestive system. So first, before going to human digestive system, let us define the term digestion. What is digestion? Digestion ante enti? What is digestion? Breaking of complex food molecules into simple ones. That is called as digestion. For example, ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఒక చైర్ తయారు చేయాలనుకోండి, ఒక చెక్క తెస్తారు, చెక్కతో డైరెక్ట్ చైర్ తయారు చేయాలి. యూ విల్ బ్రేక్ ఇన్ టు స్మాల్ ఐటమ్స్. సిమిలర్లీ యూ టేక్ ద ఫుడ్, అన్నం తింటున్నాం, కాంప్లెక్స్ ఫుడ్. Now it is broken down into small particles and the nutrients are absorbed by the cells of the body. So digestion is defined as breaking of complex food molecule into simpler one is called as digestion. This is the definition of the simple definition of the digestion. Now coming to the human digestive system, there are several parts involved in human digestive system. So I will write down the parts. First one, mouth. Pharynx. Next, esophagus. Stomach. Next, small intestine. Large intestine. Rectum. Anus. These are the parts which are present in the human digestive system, and several glands are also involved. We will discuss it about them later. So all these together is called, all the parts are collectively called as alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. Okay. So all the parts of human digestive system together are called as alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a long coiled tube in which several different these parts are present. Okay. Now we will see the diagram of human alimentary canal. So this is a rough diagram. Mouth. From mouth you will start there. Esophagus. Then stomach. this is a rough diagram. So this is a mouth. Mouth is also called as buccal cavity. You should remember this word, buccal cavity. Mouth is also called as buccal cavity. So first digestion process takes place in the mouth. You take the food through your mouth. So first digestion, how the digestion takes place in the mouth. You have teeth in your mouth. So what you do with your teeth? You will chew the food. So chewing means grinding. మెత్తగా చేస్తాం, ఫుడ్ని మెత్తగా చేస్తాం, టీత్తో గ్రైండ్ చేసి క్రంచ్. we will make the food slippery. సో ఇక్కడ we will make, tongue helps to mix the food. So here you have a 3 salivary glands. You have salivary glands. 3 pairs of salivary glands. 3 pairs of salivary glands which secrete saliva. Saliva అంటే ఏంటి? ఒక ఉమ్ము లాంటిది, ఉమ్ము లాంటిది. ఓకే, సో మౌత్లో ఫుడ్ తీసుకున్నాక we will chew the food with teeth. టీత్తో చూ చేశాక salivary glands will secrete saliva which helps to make the food slippery. అంటే స్మూత్గా, జారుడుగా. స్లిప్పరీ అంటే జారుడుగా అవటానికి మనకి ఏం హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది? సలైవా హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది. Saliva is secreted through 3 pairs of salivary glands. They are submaxillar, submandibular, and sublingual. So these are the 3 pairs of salivary glands. Okay. So what these do? So process of chewing the food and mixing it with saliva. Tongue will help to mix the food with the saliva. So this process is called as mastication. This process is called as mastication. So what is mastication? Define mastication. One more question this is. So process of chewing the food and mixing the food with the saliva with the help of tongue and making the food slippery is called as mastication. Okay, is called as mastication. So here teeth and tongue are helping the food to become soft, slippery by the help of saliva. So saliva is secreted by salivary glands, 3 pairs of salivary glands. So here one more important point you need to remember is saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase. Okay, salivary amylase. Saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase, which is also called as thylase. Is also called as thylase. The other name of salivary amylase is thylase. So you should remember this name also. Saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase, which is also called as thylase. This salivary amylase acts on the carbohydrates present in the food. This salivary amylase acts on the carbohydrates present in the food. So the digestion of carbohydrates starts in the mouth. The first digestion starts in the mouth. So what carbohydrates digestion starts in the mouth? Proteins and fats digestion does not start here, but carbohydrates digestion starts in the mouth. So by the action of salivary amylase, which is also called as thylase. Now the food will become so soft and slippery. It will become so soft. You will take a solid food. Now you chew it, you will mix it with saliva. That process is called as mastication. You will do the process of mastication. Now the food has become soft and slippery. That food is called as bolus. That food is called as bolus. Now the bolus enters through pharynx. This you can term as pharynx. through pharynx into esophagus. This one is esophagus. This one is esophagus. You can also call it as food pipe. Okay. The food, the bolus enters into esophagus through pharynx. Esophagus is also called as food pipe. Here the food directly does not enter into esophagus. Here the peristaltic movements happens. What is peristaltic movements? The food enters into esophagus, and from esophagus to stomach the food enters, the bolus enters into esophagus by peristaltic movements. The bolus enters into esophagus by peristaltic movement. What is peristaltic movement? Contraction and expansion. Contraction, when food is there, suppose here your food is there. This will expand like this, and this will contract. Okay, now it passes. Next, the food passes here, these muscles will contract, this will expand. That is called as wave, a wave-like motion. You will see up and down, contraction, expansion. So, like this. When the food is there, it will expand, the upper part will contract. Now food comes down, it will contract, this will expand. Like that, food is passed from the buccal cavity or mouth into the esophagus through peristaltic movement. Now the food enters into the next main part called the stomach. Stomach is J-shaped structure. Stomach is J-shaped structure. Now stomach secretes some important products, like stomach secretes gastric juice. This gastric juice contains HCl. This gastric juice contains HCl. Okay, gastric juice. Stomach secretes a juice called gastric juice, which contains HCl, whose pH is 5. pH is 5. Okay, whose pH is 5. So you know HCl is an acid. So we know that acid, if you keep your hand in acid, it will definitely burn. And pH is 5 means HCl is a very powerful acid. Then why our stomach is not burning out? Because it is secreting gastric juice during the process of digestion, but our stomach is not burning out. Because our stomach is covered by a mucous membrane. Okay, the stomach is covered by a mucous membrane. The stomach is covered by a mucous membrane. So this mucous membrane protects the stomach from the HCl. Okay. Now after gastric juice secreted, this gastric juice contains enzyme pepsin. Pepsinogen, actually it will be in the form of pepsinogen. Pepsinogen. It will be in the form of pepsinogen. In presence of HCl, it will become active pepsin. It will become as active. So pepsinogen is secreted by stomach. In the presence of gastric juice, it becomes pepsin. This pepsin will act on the proteins. This pepsin will act on the proteins present in the food. So the protein digestion is starting in the stomach. So carbohydrate digestion is starting in the mouth or buccal cavity by the action of salivary amylase. Now the protein digestion is started in the stomach by the action of pepsin on the proteins. The food has been digested in the stomach. The food becomes very soft, very juicy, very soft, very slippery. Chala mettaga, juicy-ga అయిపోతుంది. Now the food is called as chyme. Now the food is called as, so the food present in the stomach is called as chyme. the food present in the stomach is called as chyme. Now, the chyme enters into the duodenum. The chyme enters into the duodenum. Here in the duodenum, several glands open. Okay, from stomach, the food is entering into duodenum. Into this duodenum, this is the duodenum. Okay, in this duodenum, at this point, several glands like pancreas, liver pour their secretions. So pancreas will secrete, pancreatic juice secrete chestadi, liver bile juice secrete chestadi. So E point daggara, like on near duodenum, దీని జ్యూస్ దీంట్లోకి వేస్తారు, దీని జ్యూస్ కూడా దీంట్లోకి పంపిస్తుంది. Pancreas will send its juice into duodenum and liver will send the juice into the duodenum. So liver secretes bile juice. Liver secretes bile juice. And pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. So this pancreatic juice is full of enzymes like trypsin, chymotrypsin, lipase. Several enzymes are present in the pancreatic juice which acts on the chyme, that is which acts on the food. Okay. Trypsin will act on proteins, chymotrypsin will also act on proteins, lipases will act on lipids. Even pancreatic amylase is also present which will act on carbohydrates. Now liver secretes bile juice. Bile juice, very important point to remember is bile juice does not contain any enzymes. This is the juice which contains no enzymes. They will ask which juice contains no enzymes, means you have to write bile juice. Bile juice contains bile pigments. This bile pigments helps in the emulsification of fats. You should remember the word. Bile juice helps in emulsification of fats. Okay, clear? Bile juice helps in emulsification of fats. What is emulsification? Breaking of large food globules into smaller forms. Emulsification is breaking of large food molecules into smaller forms. Large fat globules. Okay, breaking large fat globules into small fat globules. Okay, emulsification is breaking of large fat globules into small fat globules is called as emulsification. So liver secretes bile juice which does the function of emulsification of fats. Now the food enters into the small intestine. So small intestine also secretes intestinal juice which is called as succus entericus. Small intestine also secretes intestinal juice which is also called as succus entericus. Okay. This intestinal juice also contains several enzymes which helps in complete digestion of the food. So complete digestion occurs in the small intestine. After that, the digested food is absorbed. So the intestine will have a cells. These, if you see here, the intestine, like if you see like this is the small intestine. The intestine will have cells and they will have some finger-like projections called microvilli. Okay, intestine will have some intestine will have cells. On these cells you will have some finger like things or finger laga కొన్ని ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. సెల్స్ మీద కొన్ని ఫింగర్ లాగా ఉంటాయి. అవి ఏం చేస్తాయి, డైజెస్టెడ్ ఫుడ్ని అబ్జర్వ్ చేసుకుంటాయి. దే విల్ అబ్జర్వ్, ఇలా పీల్చుకుంటాయి అన్నమాట. సో డైజెస్టెడ్ ఫుడ్ ఈజ్ హియర్. They will observe and take the food inside the cell. So food is observed into the cell through finger-like projections, which are called as microvilli. So microvilli helps in the absorption of food. So complete digestion occurs in the small intestine. Now whatever the undigested food is there, it will move into the large intestine. So this is our small intestine and this is our large intestine. So this is our large intestine. Okay. So this inner part is small intestine, this outer part is large intestine. So whatever the undigested food is there, it will move into the large intestine. So in large intestine, water absorption will take place. If anything water is there, it will be absorbed in the large intestine. Now after that the food moves to the rectum. The food moves into the rectum. I'll show you here. The food moves into the rectum. This is our rectum. And it comes outside through anus. The undigested food the undigested food from small intestine will be taken by the large intestine, and here any water is there will be absorbed and it is sent to the rectum and sent out through anus, and this process is called as ejection. This process is called sending out the undigested food through anus is the process called ejection. So this is some brief introduction about human digestive system. Still we will study each and every part in detail. Okay, thank you.